In the heart of London, where millions walk unaware beneath glowing streetlights, a hidden war was unfolding. A feared crime boss who ruled the shadows for decades believed his power made him untouchable, until one perfectly timed moment proved him wrong. A professional hitman, a silent escape, and a killing so clean it shattered the balance of the underworld. What followed was not justice, but chaos, betrayal, and a violent power vacuum that dragged the city's gangland into a new era. This is the true story of the day London's criminal empire collapsed from a single pull of the trigger. London is a city of shadows, where beneath the glow of streetlights and the rush of late-night traffic, another world quietly operates. A world ruled by fear, loyalty, and blood money. This is the story of a powerful crime boss who believed he was untouchable, a man whose name alone was enough to silence rooms and stop conversations mid-sentence. For years, he controlled territory, crews, and cash flow across parts of London's underworld. But on one cold evening, all of that power meant nothing. This was the day a hitman rewrote the balance of London's gangland. The crime boss at the center of this story had built his empire over decades. Starting as a street-level enforcer in the 1990s, he learned quickly that violence alone was not enough. He was intelligent, patient, and ruthless when necessary. By the early 2000s, he had moved from street crimes into organized operations, controlling drug distribution routes, protection rackets, and illegal gambling circles. He rarely got his hands dirty anymore. Others did that for him. That distance made him feel safe. His inner circle was small and carefully chosen. Loyalty was rewarded generously, but betrayal was punished without mercy. Stories circulated in the underworld about people who crossed him and were never seen again. Some were rumored to have fled the country. Others were believed to be buried somewhere no one would ever find. Whether true or exaggerated, the fear worked. Rivals avoided direct conflict, and law enforcement struggled to gather enough evidence to bring him down. But power creates enemies, and enemies are patient. As the years passed, cracks began to form. A major drug shipment disappeared under suspicious circumstances. A trusted lieutenant was arrested and refused to talk, but the damage was done. Whispers began spreading that the boss was losing control, that his grip on the streets was slipping. In the criminal world, weakness is an invitation. Unbeknownst to the crime boss, a decision had already been made. Somewhere in London, a professional hitman was preparing for a job that would change everything. This was not a reckless killer driven by emotion. This was a calculated operator, someone who planned every movement, every second, and every possible outcome. The hitman had studied his target carefully, learning his routines, his habits, and his moments of vulnerability. The crime boss believed he was safest in familiar places. One particular location, a private spot he visited regularly, gave him a false sense of security. It was quiet, controlled, and seemingly far from danger. He had been there countless times without incident. That routine became his biggest mistake. On the day of the hit, London moved as it always did. People rushed to work, buses crawled through traffic, and CCTV cameras silently recorded everything. The crime boss went about his day unaware that it would be his last. He made calls, issued orders, and discussed future plans. There were deals still unfinished, disputes yet to be settled. He believed he had time. The hitman was already in position. Dressed to blend in, moving without drawing attention, he looked like just another face in the crowd. This was the advantage of a city like London. Millions of people, endless noise, and constant movement made it easy to disappear. The hitman waited patiently, watching, calculating, and adjusting. When the moment finally came, it happened fast.
There was no dramatic chase, no warning, and no chance to react. In a matter of seconds, years of power and dominance ended. The crime boss collapsed, his authority evaporating instantly. The hitman did not linger. He vanished into the city just as easily as he had arrived. Chaos followed. Emergency services were called, streets were cordoned off, and rumors exploded across the underworld. News traveled fast, faster than official reports. Phones buzzed non-stop as gang members, rivals, and associates tried to make sense of what had just happened. A man once thought invincible was dead. Police quickly realized the significance of the killing. This was not a random act of violence, it was a professional hit, carefully executed. Detectives began piecing together CCTV footage, witness statements, and phone records. Every detail mattered. But London had seen this before. A clean job leaves very little behind. Within hours, the balance of power shifted. Crews loyal to the fallen boss scrambled to protect themselves. Rivals saw opportunity. Old grudges resurfaced. Some feared retaliation, while others celebrated quietly. The underworld does not mourn openly, it calculates. For investigators, the challenge was immense. The victim had lived a life designed to avoid evidence. His enemies were numerous, but proving who ordered the hit was another matter entirely. The hitman had done his job perfectly, leaving behind questions instead of answers. This killing marked the beginning of a dangerous new chapter in London's criminal history. The death of a crime boss does not end crime. It creates a vacuum, and vacuums are filled with violence. As police intensified their efforts and gangs repositioned themselves, one truth became clear. This was not just the end of a man. It was the start of a war that would reshape London's underworld forever.
The aftermath of the gangland hit sent shockwaves far beyond the crime scene. While the public saw flashing lights and police tape, London's underworld felt something far more dangerous: uncertainty. The death of a crime boss is never just a killing, it is a signal, a message that power can be taken, that no one is truly safe, and that the rules of the street are about to change. Within hours, senior detectives from the Metropolitan Police's specialist crime units were assigned to the case. They knew this was not an ordinary murder. The precision, timing, and escape all pointed to a professional hit. Every movement had been calculated. CCTV footage from nearby streets showed fragments of activity, blurred figures, and vehicles that appeared and disappeared with perfect timing, but none of it gave police a clear face or identity. Investigators began by reconstructing the victim's final days. Phone records revealed dozens of calls, many made using burner phones designed to leave no trace. Meetings were arranged in coded language. Locations were changed at the last moment. This was a man who lived expecting danger, yet somehow danger had still reached him. That realization frustrated detectives. If someone this cautious could be killed so cleanly, anyone could. As news spread, members of the fallen boss's organization went silent. Some disappeared completely. Others fled London, heading for Europe or the Middle East. A few tried to step into leadership roles, but authority built on fear dies quickly when the source of that fear is gone. Long-standing rival gangs began testing boundaries almost immediately. Drug routes were challenged, protection rackets were disrupted. Violence, once controlled, started spilling into public spaces. Police informants, sensing opportunity, slowly began to talk. Some whispered about internal betrayal. Others suggested the hit was ordered by a rival syndicate tired of paying tribute. One name surfaced repeatedly, a shadowy figure known for financing contract killings rather than carrying them out. But rumors in the criminal world are currency, not evidence. Every tip had to be treated with caution. The hitman himself remained a ghost. Detectives believed he had entered London days before the killing and left within hours after it. Border records showed nothing unusual. Fake identities and forged documents likely played a role.
This level of professionalism suggested international connections, possibly Eastern European or Balkan crime networks known for providing hired killers. Still, proving that link was nearly impossible. As weeks passed, the investigation slowed publicly but intensified behind closed doors. Surveillance increased across known gang territories. Undercover officers embedded themselves deeper into criminal circles. Financial investigators followed money trails, looking for sudden transfers that might indicate payment for the hit. But cash-based systems and offshore accounts kept answers out of reach. Meanwhile, the streets were changing. Younger, more reckless figures began filling the power vacuum. Without the old boss's strict control, disputes escalated faster and ended bloodier. Shootings increased. Innocent bystanders were put at risk. London's gangland was no longer operating under one dominant figure, but several competing ones, each trying to prove strength through violence. The family of the murdered crime boss lived under heavy protection. Though his life had been criminal, his death placed them in danger. Retaliation was expected, but against whom? With no confirmed suspect, revenge had no clear target. That uncertainty only added to the tension. Every unexpected movement, every unfamiliar car felt like a threat. Months later, police made several arrests linked to associated crimes, but none directly tied to the hit itself. Prosecutors lacked the evidence needed to bring a murder charge. The case remained officially open, yet unofficially, many feared it would never be solved. London had seen similar cases before, professionally executed hits that faded into cold files marked by unanswered questions. In the underworld, however, the truth often circulates quietly. Word spread that the killing was meant as a warning, not just to one man, but to an entire network. Pay your debts, respect boundaries, or face consequences. Whether that message achieved its goal is debatable, because the violence that followed suggested the opposite. Years later, the name of the fallen boss is still spoken in hushed tones. Some remember him as a ruthless criminal who got what was coming. Others see him as a stabilizing force whose death unleashed chaos. History in the criminal world is written by survivors, and their versions are never the same. The hitman was never officially identified. No conviction was ever secured. The city moved on, as it always does, but beneath the surface, the impact remains. This was not just a murder, it was a turning point, a reminder that in London's gangland, power is temporary, loyalty is fragile, and death can arrive without warning. This case stands as one of the most chilling examples of organized crime in modern Britain. A perfectly executed hit, a vanished killer, and a criminal empire reduced to memory. The question of who ordered the killing may never be answered publicly, but one truth is undeniable. The day a hitman took out a crime boss, London's underworld was changed forever.
If you're still here watching, thank you. Before you go, please subscribe to our channel, Dark Frame Stories, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another real-life mystery like this.